Let me tell you something, and I want you to hear me with your heart, not just your ears. You've got to know who you are, and whose you are. Because if you don't, the world is gonna try to tell you. It'll slap a label on you before you even know how to spell your own name. They'll tell you you're not enough, not smart enough, not strong enough, not talented enough. And if you're not rooted in who you are, you'll start believing it. You'll shrink yourself to fit into boxes you were never made to live in. Let me paint the picture. You ever seen a lion in a cage? You walk by, and it just lies there still, quiet. But don't get it twisted. That lion's still a lion. Its environment doesn't change its essence, but the longer it stays behind bars, the more it starts to forget who it is. It stops hunting, it stops roaring. It starts pacing instead of chasing. Some of us, we've been caged so long by fear, by doubt, by systems, by other people's opinions that we've forgotten we were born for the wild, for the why, open, for the fight. See, when I was growing up, I didn't come from silver spoons and safety nets. No, I came from hard work, prayer, discipline, and a mama who didn't let me forget who I was. She said, "Son, don't you let this world define you. You belong to God. You were made with purpose." And I didn't always get it then, but I get it now. You need to know whose you are, because there will come a moment, mark my words, when life will hit you so hard, you'll forget your own name, you'll lose the job, the relationship will break, the money won't show, the door will close, and in that moment the mirror won't just reflect your face. It'll reflect your faith. What do you believe about yourself when nobody's clapping? Because that's the real you. The you behind the titles, behind the talent, behind the temporary highs. That's the you that has to show up when everything else falls away. And listen, I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm not talking about puffing your chest up. I'm talking about identity, clarity. When you know who you are, you walk different. You speak different, you don't settle. You don't chase validation because you already carry value. And let me say this, if you keep searching for your worth in people, in applause, in platforms, you'll always come up empty. Because people are fickle. Fame fades, but purpose stays. And when you know who you are, even if the world don't clap, you keep moving. You move like you got heaven behind you. You speak like your voice matters. You show up like your life has weight, because it does. And if you don't claim that truth, the world will rewrite your story. It'll take the pen out your hand and give you a script full of limitations. But you were never meant to live someone else's story. You owe it to yourself to reclaim your name, to look in the mirror and see not just what's there but what's possible. Not just what the world sees, but what was always inside you, waiting to wake up. Know who you are, know whose you are, and walk like it, because when you do, everything changes. Let's talk about pain, not the kind that's convenient, not the kind you post about just to get a few likes. I'm talking about the pain that keeps you up at night, the pain you don't tell nobody about, the kind you bury so deep, you smile right through it because the world doesn't know what it costs you to keep standing. Yeah, that pain, we all got it. Some wear it, some hide it. But every single one of us is carrying something. Loss, betrayal, rejection, failure. And if you haven't felt it yet, just keep living. But here's the thing, pain isn't just something you go through. It's something that grows you, if you let it. See, I've had moments in my life, dark moments where I felt like I wasn't gonna make it. Moments where the phone call changed everything. Moments where the prayer I prayed didn't get answered the way I wanted. Moments where I felt forgotten, even by God. But let me tell you something I learned in those seasons. Pain will introduce you to parts of yourself that comfort could never reach. When you're on your knees with nothing left but tears and time, you find out who you are. You find out what you're made of, and more importantly, you find out what matters. You learn how to be still. You learn how to stop depending on things that were never solid. You learn how to let go of what you thought you needed. Pain strips you down to the truth. It removes the mask. It forces you to get real with yourself and real with God. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's necessary, because if you never feel it, you'll never heal it. If you always avoid it, you'll always be a prisoner to it. But when you stop running from your pain, when you turn and face it, when you say, I'm still here, I'm still breathing, I'm still standing, you take back your power. And look, I know the world tells us to hide our scars, but I say show 'em, because your scars don't mean you're broken, they mean you fought. They mean you survived. You ever see a tree that's been through a storm? The branches may be twisted, the bark may be cracked, but the roots go deeper, and that's what pain does. It deepens your roots, it grounds you, it grows you. Some of the strongest people I've ever met weren't the ones who had it all together. They were the ones who walked through hell and came out holding peace like a torch. Pain is your fire. It'll either burn you or refine you. You get to choose. You can sit in it, drown in it, let it define you, or you can rise from it. You can say, this happened, yes, but it's not the end of me. It's the beginning of something new in me. You owe it to yourself not to let the pain be wasted. You owe it to yourself to turn it into something greater. Into wisdom, into compassion, into purpose. Because the ones who have been through the fire, they shine different, they walk different. They speak with a weight that only comes from walking through what should have broken them. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to keep going with the scars, with the bruises, with the story. Turn your pain into power, not tomorrow, today. Everybody wants to get to the promise, but nobody wants to walk through the process. Everybody wants the crown, but they don't want the cross. We talk about success like it's a lightning strike, like it just shows up one day and blesses you because you wished hard enough. But let me tell you something, dreams without discipline, that's just daydreaming, that's fantasy. You want it, you want that goal, that position, that life, then you better be ready to build the bridge to get there, and that bridge is called discipline, not talent, not luck, not popularity. Discipline. Discipline is doing what you said you'd do even when you no longer feel like doing it. It's waking up early when your body says stay in bed. It's showing up when nobody's clapping. It's saying no to distractions, to detours, to drama, so you can say yes to your calling. Let me tell you something real. There were plenty of days I didn't feel like getting up. Days I doubted myself, questioned the journey, felt like quitting. But discipline doesn't care about your feelings. Discipline shows up. It doesn't ask how you feel, it asks what you want. Because feelings fade, but legacy lasts. You don't rise to the level of your hopes, you fall to the level of your habits. And if your habits are inconsistent, then your results will be too. That's not me judging, that's just truth. You can have all the vision in the world, but if you're lazy with your time, you'll never taste the fruit. If you're reckless with your focus, you'll stay stuck in the same cycle year after year. Dreams are free, but discipline, that's the down payment. I've seen people with half the talent get twice as far. You know why? Because they were hungry. They trained when others played. They listened when others talked. They moved with purpose while others waited for a perfect moment that never came. Success don't come looking for the loudest person in the room, it comes for the most prepared. So while you're watching everybody else on social media, wondering how they made it, ask yourself, what am I doing with my 24 hours? Are you building or are you scrolling? Are you preparing or are you procrastinating? Because the work you put in when nobody's watching is what shows up when everybody is. You gotta stop asking for a finish line when you haven't even run the first mile. Stop begging for results when you haven't even developed the routine. And look, I'm not saying it's easy. There are days when discipline feels like a grind, like nobody sees you, nobody understands, like the progress is too slow. But that's where character is built, not in the spotlight. In the shadows, every rep, every hour, every sacrifice, it adds up. You may not see the change day to day, but one day you'll look up and realize you became the person you prayed to be. Discipline is the difference between a wish and a win, between potential and purpose lived out loud. So if you're tired of waiting for someday, if you're tired of watching others walk through doors that were meant for you too, then get serious, get focused. Get consistent, because nobody's coming to build the bridge for you. You owe it to yourself to do the work. Everybody's got a dream. You ask a room full of people, what do you want? Hands go up. Voices light up. I want to travel the world. I want to start my business. I want to write a book, be an actor, start a nonprofit, inspire people. Dreams are beautiful, but let's be clear, dreaming alone don't get you there. You can't just dream it. You gotta move with intention. See, dreaming is passive, it's safe, It happens in your head, but intention, that's action, that's focus, that's weight behind your words, and a lot of people confuse activity with progress. They're busy, but they're not building. They talk about their plans, vision boards full of color and quotes, but when the sun rises, they're back in bed, snoozing on purpose. You gotta ask yourself, do I want this, or do I just like the idea of it? Because wanting it means work. Wanting it means sacrificing comfort for calling. It means setting your alarm, showing up early, staying late, studying when others are sleeping, rehearsing when others are relaxing, preparing when others are posting. When I started chasing my purpose, I had to get serious about intention. I couldn't just hope I'd book the role. I had to prepare like it was already mine. I had to sharpen my craft, guard my circle, fix my mindset. I had to stop waiting for the opportunity to show up and start becoming the person who could handle it when it did. Intention is not waiting for the door to open, it's building your own frame and learning how to turn that knob. You sit around too long waiting for a perfect moment, you'll miss the one you were already standing in. Perfection is a lie. Progress is the truth. If you want to move your life forward, you've got to stop treating your dream like a lottery ticket. This ain't luck, this is decision. Every day you don't act with intention, you're telling your dream it can wait. And let me tell you something, dreams don't wait. They don't chase you back. They disappear in the hands of the next person who's ready to commit. Some of you are waiting for a sign, but the sign is this: you woke up today, you're still breathing, that means it's on you now. Your future is calling, and it's tired of getting sent a voicemail. Don't just talk about it. Don't just post about it. Be about it. Put a plan behind that passion. Put some structure behind that vision. Wake up with direction. Speak with purpose. Walk like you've already been assigned. Because when you act with intention, when your steps match your words, that's when the doors start to open. Not because the world suddenly believed in you, but because you finally believed in yourself enough to act. There comes a moment in life where you've got to stop waiting for someone to hand you permission to live it. You've got to stop waiting for the right time, the right people, the right setup. Because let me tell you, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to do it for you. You owe it to yourself to become your own rescue. This world will try to convince you that your value comes from outside, from a paycheck, from applause, from a platform. But you were valuable the moment you took your first breath, before you had titles, before you had achievements, before anybody ever called you somebody. You don't owe the world your perfection. You don't owe people your silence. You owe you your best shot, your full effort, your full truth. Stop playing small so others feel comfortable. Stop dimming your light so nobody says you're too much. Because the truth is, you are too much. For rooms that were never built to hold your greatness, let them be uncomfortable. Let them doubt you. Let them talk. While they're busy judging, you keep building. While they're playing safe, you keep stepping out. You don't owe explanations for your growth. You don't owe apologies for evolving. You owe it to yourself to look back at the end of this life and say, I gave it everything. Not, I wish I had tried. Not, I wonder what would have happened if. No, you owe yourself a life with no regret left on the table. Because one day, and it'll come sooner than you think, you'll wake up and realize time don't wait. Opportunities pass, chances fade, and what's left is what you chose to do with your moment. Every minute you spend shrinking, doubting, hiding, that's a minute you could have been becoming. And trust me, the world doesn't need more copies, it needs you. The full, unfiltered, passionate, gritty, honest you. So speak up, stand tall, write the book, take the trip, launch the business, walk in that room like you belong, because you do. You owe it to yourself to stop waiting for applause and start moving in purpose. You owe it to yourself to forgive what tried to break you, to heal forward, to love harder, to live louder, to show up even when your hands shake, even when your voice cracks, because the dream is yours. The gift is yours, and the responsibility, that's yours too. This life is not a rehearsal. This is it. Right here, right now, so own it, live it. You owe it to yourself. So now the question is, what are you gonna do with what you've heard? You know who you are, or at least, now you know it's time to find out. You've walked through pain and maybe you're still in it, but now you know that pain can produce something. You've heard that discipline is the bridge between your dreams and your destiny. That intention is what separates the talkers from the walkers, and that at the end of the day, when the lights go down and the crowd disappears, you've got to live with you. You owe it to yourself to stop living like you've got forever. You owe it to yourself to stop asking for permission and start claiming your space. This life, it's a one-shot deal, no reruns, no rewinds, no second takes. And when it's all said and done, when you're old and gray, when the stage is empty, when the mirror shows you the miles you've walked, you want to be able to say, I gave it all. I left nothing behind. I didn't just survive, I showed up. I fought for it. I lived full, and I'm leaving empty. You owe it to yourself to rise, to step, to move, because your story ain't over. In fact, it's just getting started. So take the pen, own the page, and write it bold. You owe it to yourself, not someday, not when it's easy. Right now, today.